In this land, survival is a brutal game. And only the strongest will endure. This is Kruger. A battlefield where predator and prey are locked in an endless fight for survival. Every moment is a test. Every second, a struggle between life and death. But the greatest threat doesn't come from nature alone. Climate change, poaching, habitat destruction. The very balance of life is crumbling before our eyes. But in the heart of this untamed wilderness, life fights back. Against all odds, Africa's greatest survivors continue their ancient battle. How do the kings of the wild survive against impossible odds? Can Kruger withstand the forces threatening its future? The answers begin now. Spanning over 7,500 square miles, Kruger National Park is one of the last true wildernesses on Earth. A land where nature reigns supreme, and survival is a way of life. From the roaring lions of the Savanna to the silent giants of the forests, Kruger is home to more than 500 species of birds, 114 species of reptiles, and nearly 150 species of mammals, including the legendary Big Five. But beyond its breathtaking beauty lies a battleground. Climate change is reshaping the land. Water sources are drying up, and the balance of life is shifting. Elephants, once thriving, are now forced to travel miles farther just to find a single drop of water. Cape buffalo, weakened by the vanishing grasslands, grow desperate. Even the mighty lion, king of the Savanna, finds itself hunting livestock as its prey disappears. Yet, Kruger's struggles are not just against nature. A silent war rages beneath the surface. Poachers lurk in the shadows, seeking the prized ivory of elephants and the coveted horns of rhinos. Their actions are pushing entire species toward extinction. Since 1970, global wildlife populations have declined by over 70%. Kruger is one of the last strongholds fighting to preserve Africa's most iconic creatures. But is it enough? Beneath the cracked earth and towering baobab trees, the cycles of survival continue. Some species adapt, others vanish. But for those who remain, every sunrise marks another chance to endure. This land has witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. The ancient Sand people once roamed these lands, living alongside the very creatures we now fight to protect. But as history has shown, Nature never stops changing. This is Kruger, a kingdom of untamed beauty, a battleground of life and death, and a land where the fight for survival never ends. But how do Africa's greatest predators and prey survive in this ever-changing world? And can they withstand the challenges ahead? The answers lie within their stories. He is the ruler of the Savanna, the king of beasts, a predator like no other. With unmatched strength, a powerful roar, and razor-sharp instincts, the African lion dominates the wild. But in a world that is changing faster than ever, even kings are not untouchable. Unlike most big cats, lions are social animals. They live, hunt, and rule together in powerful prides. A pride is built on the strength of its lionesses, the true hunters of the Savanna. They work together, raising their young, defending their territory, and securing food for the entire group. The males, with their thick manes and sheer power, stand as the kingdom's protectors. They fight off rival males and will battle to the death to defend their pride. Patience, precision, power. Hunting in the African wilderness is never easy. Success requires teamwork, perfect timing, and relentless pursuit. Lionesses use the element of surprise, creeping low through the tall grass, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When the time comes, they explode into action, hitting speeds of up to 50 miles per hour. But they don't run for long. They rely on strategy, working together to corner and take down their prey. Every hunt is a gamble, but for those who succeed, the pride eats, and for those who fail, hunger is just around the corner. But even the mightiest hunters face challenges. As prey becomes harder to find, lion prides grow desperate. Some turn to hunting livestock, bringing them into direct conflict with humans. For male lions, survival is even more brutal. If a new coalition of males takes over a pride, they will kill all cubs to establish their own bloodline. The battle for dominance is unforgiving. and only the strongest will survive. But their greatest enemy is not foe, but their greatest enemy is not found in the wild. Over the last century, lion populations have plummeted by nearly 90. Habitat loss, human expansion, illegal hunting. These forces are driving Africa's kings closer to extinction. A world without lions is no longer a distant fear. It is a real and urgent threat. But hope is not lost. Across Africa, conservationists and rangers are fighting to protect these legendary predators. Technology, education, and strict anti-poaching laws are giving lions a second chance. Because without them, the Savanna would fall silent. Without them, Africa would lose its heartbeat. It moves like a tank, armored and unshaken. With a sharp horn, a powerful build, and a reputation as one of Africa's toughest creatures, the black rhino seems invincible. But looks can be deceiving. In reality, this ancient giant is fighting a war it never asked for. Unlike its larger cousin, the white rhino, the black rhino is smaller, more agile, and incredibly aggressive. With speeds of up to 35 miles per hour, it can charge with terrifying force. Its hooked upper lip is perfectly adapted for browsing, plucking leaves and twigs from the dense bush. But despite its strength, the black rhino is a solitary, secretive creature. It roams alone, avoiding conflict whenever possible, except when it feels threatened. But despite its strength, the black rhino is losing its greatest battle, the war against poaching. With its horn worth more than gold on the black market, this animal has become one of the most targeted species in the world. Each year, hundreds fall victim to poachers killed not for food, not for survival, but for profit. Over the last century, black rhino populations have plummeted by 98%. 3 subspecies have already been declared extinct, and if the slaughter continues, more could follow. But hope is not lost. Across Africa, conservationists and rangers are risking their lives to protect these animals. Kruger National Park has deployed advanced surveillance drones, thermal imaging, and armed patrols to track poachers before they strike. In some areas, drastic measures have been taken. Some rhinos have their horns safely removed, not to harm them, but to make them worthless to poachers. It's a desperate fight, but one that may be the only way to save them. But the black rhino isn't just another endangered species. It's a keystone of its ecosystem. As it moves, it clears pathways through the dense bush, shaping the land for smaller animals. Its dung spreads seeds, helping new plants take root. Even the birds that ride on its back, oxpeckers, depend on it for survival. Lose the black rhino, and we lose more than just a species. We lose an entire network of life. But the future of the black rhino isn't written yet. Thanks to relentless conservation efforts, their numbers are slowly rising. More rangers, more awareness, and more people standing up to protect these incredible animals. Because extinction is not an option, not for Africa, not for the world, and not for the black rhino. It moves like a ghost, silent, invisible, and always watching. Unlike lions, leopards do not rule in numbers. Unlike cheetahs, they do not rely on speed alone. Instead, they are masters of stealth, perfect hunters, perfect killers. Every hunt begins with patience. A leopard will stalk for minutes, sometimes even hours, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Unlike lions, it does not chase its prey for long distances. Instead, it gets close, dangerously close. And when the time comes, one leap, one bite, and the hunt is over. Its jaw clamps down on the throat, silencing its prey in seconds. No struggle. No second chances. But catching prey is only half the battle. The real challenge is keeping it in Kruger. Nothing is safe on the ground. Hyenas, lions, and even rival leopards will steal a hard-earned kill. So, the leopard does what no other predator can. It climbs. With sheer power, it hauls its prey sometimes twice its own weight high into the trees, far from the reach of scavengers. Here, in the canopy, it feasts in peace, alone, just as it was meant to be. But even the most elusive hunters have enemies. On the ground, hyenas and lions pose a constant threat. A single mistake could mean death. But the greatest danger does not come from nature. It comes from us. Habitat loss, poaching, human encroachment. The leopard, once roaming across Africa, is now losing its home at an alarming rate. Its ability to stay hidden has kept it alive for centuries. But now hiding is no longer enough. But make no mistake, the leopard is not just a hunter. It is a keystone predator keeping balance in its ecosystem. Without leopards, prey populations would explode. The savanna would shift. The delicate chain of life would break. This is why it must be protected, not just as a species, but as a guardian of the wild. But there is still hope. Conservation efforts across Africa are fighting to protect the leopard's future. National parks, anti-poaching laws, and habitat restoration programs are giving them a chance to thrive. Because losing the leopard would not just mean losing a species. It would mean losing the soul of the wild, silent, unseen, yet always watching. The master of stealth will not go quietly into the night. They are swift, they are relentless, and they are the most effective hunters in all of Africa. The African wild dog is not the strongest predator, not the fastest, but what they lack in size, they make up for in strategy, teamwork, and an unbreakable bond. Unlike lions, wild dogs don't rely on brute force. Unlike cheetahs, they don't depend on speed alone. Instead, they use something far more powerful: coordination. The hunt begins with a silent signal, a subtle ear flick, a shift in body language, and suddenly they move as one. They don't chase blindly. They anticipate. They communicate. Each member of the pack knows its role. Some drive the prey forward. Others cut off escape routes. And when the moment is right, they close in with an 80% success rate. African wild dogs are the most efficient predators in the savanna. But their strength doesn't just come from hunting. It comes from something far deeper. Their unbreakable bond. Unlike most predators, wild dogs care for their sick and injured. They share food. They raise their young together. They do not fight for dominance like lions. Instead, they function as a true family where survival depends on trust, teamwork, and loyalty. And that is why they thrive. Until now. Once, wild dogs roamed across Africa in the millions. Today, fewer than 7,000 remain. Habitat destruction, poaching, conflict with farmers, and one invisible killer disease. As human settlements expand, wild dogs are forced into smaller territories. They come into contact with domestic dogs, and with them, deadly viruses like rabies and distemper. One outbreak can wipe out an entire pack in weeks. For a species that relies on unity, losing just a few individuals can mean the end of an entire family. But the loss of wild dogs isn't just a loss for them. It's a loss for the entire ecosystem. As top predators, they keep herbivore populations in check. They prevent overgrazing. They clean up the savanna, reducing disease by consuming every last scrap of their kill. Without them, the balance begins to collapse, and that is why saving them is saving the wild itself. But their story is not over yet. Across Africa, conservationists are working to protect these remarkable hunters. Vaccination programs, protected reserves, and public awareness campaigns are giving them a fighting chance, because losing the African wild dog would mean losing one of nature's greatest hunters, one of its greatest survivors, and one of its most extraordinary families. And that is something we cannot afford to let happen. The African wilderness is more than just lions, leopards, and elephants. It is an intricate web of life, where every creature, no matter how big or small, plays a vital role. From the tallest giraffe to the smallest insect, nature operates in perfect harmony. A delicate balance built over millions of years. They are nature's cleanup crew, the scavengers of the wild. Hyenas and vultures may not be the most glamorous animals, but without them, the savanna would drown in disease and decay. Hyenas recycle what other predators leave behind. Vultures consume what even hyenas cannot. Together, they ensure that no life, no matter how small, goes to waste. Without scavengers, carcasses would rot, spreading disease and disrupting the balance of the ecosystem. Beneath the surface, another battle for survival unfolds. The river is ruled by two giants, the hippopotamus and the crocodile. Hippos are territorial, aggressive, and fiercely protective of their young. Their enormous size and powerful jaws make them one of the most dangerous animals in Africa. Crocodiles, on the other hand, are silent assassins. They wait, motionless, for the perfect moment to strike. A single lunge and their victim is pulled into the depths. While they may seem like enemies, hippos and crocodiles share an uneasy truce. One dominates the day, the other the night. Unlike antelopes, buffaloes do not run. They fight, weighing nearly 2,000 pounds, with horns that can crush bone. The African buffalo is one of the most formidable animals in the wild. When one of their own is attacked, they do not flee, they charge. Even lions think twice before taking on a full-grown buffalo. This is the power of unity. In nature, survival is not always about strength. Sometimes it's about standing together. Some of the most fascinating partnerships in nature are built on trust. The oxpecker is more than just a bird, it's a guardian. Feeding on ticks and parasites, it keeps large herbivores healthy while also serving as an early warning system against predators. In return, the host animal provides food and protection. It's a relationship that has lasted for millions of years, a perfect example of how cooperation leads to survival. Nature is a delicate balance. Take away one species, and everything changes. Hyenas, vultures, crocodiles, buffalo, oxpeckers. They may not be the stars of the savanna, but without them, the entire system collapses. The wild is not just about predators and prey. It is about connections, about balance, and about the role that every creature, no matter how small, plays in keeping this world alive. The wild is disappearing, and with it, the creatures that once ruled this land. In just a few decades, we have lost over 60% of the planet's wildlife. And if we do nothing, many of Africa's greatest species could vanish forever, not in 1,000 years, not in a century, but within our lifetime. But hope is not lost. Across Africa, there are those who refuse to let this story end in tragedy. Rangers risk their lives to protect endangered species. Scientists work tirelessly to understand and save them. Conservationists fight to give them a future. They are the last line of defense between survival and extinction. But they cannot do it alone. The fate of these animals is in our hands. It starts with awareness. With education. With understanding that every action we take, no matter how small, can make a difference by supporting ethical tourism. Donating to conservation projects, or simply spreading the word. We can be the voices that these creatures do not have, because protecting nature means protecting the future. Conservation is not about saving animals, it's about saving balance. It's about saving an entire world that is bigger than ourselves. Without predators, prey populations spiral out of control. Without elephants, forests cannot grow. Without rhinos, entire ecosystems change. Every species is a thread in the web of life. Remove one, and the entire system begins to fall apart. We are not separate from nature. We are part of it, and what we choose to do today. Will determine what kind of world we leave behind. A world with lions still roaring, with elephants still marching. With the wild still untamed, or a world where these creatures exist only in books, in pictures, in memories, the choice is ours. And the time is now.